It's a unbelievably overwhelming experience.
Trying to see what I love, trying to see what stimulates me.
It was something that I enjoyed doing.
I just need to move, and I need to think, and I need to be free.
I've reached the point of loving myself.
It's beautiful.
It still felt really wonderful.
Good. When I came out to my
Did feel
sister.
at first that I hate
And
men
she
and
was-
would use them for
she wasn't
whatever.
surprised.
You know,
She was
And
like,
it happened
but
when I was actually
it's
adopted.
immature and
My
it's
friends
childish
and my
to
adopted
think that
boys.
because
I was about 7, 8 years old, and I had this very, very close friend. We used to play together all the time, spend most of our days at school and after school together. And one day she came up to me and she said, "Can't we, just play around with something?" It wasn't really planned, but she spoke and let's do it like our parents do it, or let's do something like, that's connected to sex or some sexual experience. And I was anxious because we were doing this very secretive. Both of us got under her bed, and we were lying on top of each other, fully clothed in our play clothes, and we were just like rubbing against each other. And the feelings, although you were still thinking, oh boy, this is like not supposed to happen, it still felt really wonderful. I mean, there were feelings coming out of me that today I fully understand, but then I didn't really, it just felt good. We never did it again afterwards, but this always sticks in my mind as really probably my first experience of feelings inside me that is out of this world.
I grew up in a rural part of Eastern Cape, but it was Sky then. So when we come to school, there was only one way, that we have to pass the river and when we go to school. My friends and I would just stop in the river and take off our uniforms, put the books aside, and then we'll go down the river because it was such a very beautiful place. There was a stream coming down. Then innocently we were kids, we just play and bath and do everything. And as the water coming down, I felt like not stopping, holding myself like this, and there was a flow that was coming in and out in my vagina. There was something that was going on, which I felt comfortable with, and I've never told my friends about that there's something that is happening in my vulva when we are there. And it was at a later stage that I knew what exactly I was doing, but then I didn't know that I was masturbating or I had sexual feelings, because at the age of 6 or 7 years, you cannot say a child can start to have sexual feelings, especially in my culture.
My early memories are of playing house with my friends, mixed girls and boys. We just, gather together and decide to play mommy and daddy and kids. And I never fitted in with the girls that wanted to play mommy because the mother role was too boring for me. I needed more challenge, and the fathers could go out and do whatever, and that was the role I wanted to play. But I couldn't play the role because, the guys would say, no, sorry, you're a mother, you're supposed to be either a mother or sister, clean and cook, and that's nothing I identified with. So just because I didn't have a penis, I couldn't be a father. Yeah, I never really played with dolls. I hate dolls. You know, they were not real. You know, they were white to start with. They had this long hair. You know, it didn't stimulate me to dress them up. So I just, if I didn't break their legs up, I would just draw on their faces.
I was born in Cape Town, where my mother basically signed me off and left. I still haven't seen her today. My father came down, fetched me, took care of me for most of the time, until I was about 5, 6 years old. Then he passed away of cancer. And after that, I was a bit shoved around between people. And eventually I got adopted at the age of about 10. But, you know, it's very strange to me that a lot of people ask me, where do I come from? And I've got some basic things that I can tell you, like I've been born in Tygerberg Hospital. I knew my father a little bit. I don't have a lot of memory of him. But when people ask me more detail, like, who's your grandparents? Where's your mother? More detail, then I say to them, but I don't know. And I've got this big question mark. It's just, I can't believe it. It's like I've been put on this earth by who, you know?
I spent a lot of time during my teenage years in parks after school and just chilling with friends and that sort of thing. If you sit and watch them, and they're just so free and completely innocent. It's almost like it rubs off on you when you're sitting and watching them. And it becomes quite sad for me sometimes because I don't remember being that free and that innocent. It's sad because it's like there's a huge chunk of my life that's missing, and I feel that if I understood who I was and what I was like when I was a child, maybe I'd understand myself a little bit more and things would make more sense now.
My first sexual encounter was through sexual abuse. And it happened when I was actually adopted. And my adopted father sexually abused me probably from about the age of 11 until I was about 18. I don't know, it seems like when people get abusive, they treat you as an object and you have absolutely no freedom. And it was so terrible because I never had relationships with boys. And also I wasn't really allowed friends, girlfriends, so you don't have that special moment where you talk in your room about things and about women things and about sexual things. You know, at home I was always saying to him, you know, please treat me like a normal daughter. I don't want this to happen. And he'll say to me, but, you know, it's got to. I mean, you belong to me and I want you to have my children and you cannot go to matric farewell because you need to have sex with me. But I just had to actually, you know, get strong and firm enough to say, but this is about my life. This is about my sexuality. This should be my choice.
I didn't have any male role models because most of the men around me were terrible. It's either they cheated on their wives or raped or beat up their wives or girlfriends or, you know, one thing or another that was very hurtful. And from a young age, I locked myself in. I avoided a lot of things that happened to a lot of girls my age at that time. I avoided rapes. I avoided jackrolling. That's what it was called. Those were the terrible things that happened, and I just locked myself in. I didn't have friends because, you know, friends and peer pressure, I just couldn't stand it. I was approximately 12 years old or 11 years old, and it was a movie on Bob TV. It was just two women sitting and comforting each other, like holding hands and hugging and holding the cheeks, and I just doubled over because it was something that I identified with. That kind of like stimulated me. That turned me on. They were not sexual or anything. They were just comforting each other. And from that moment on, I knew that, I need a woman's touch.
Now, I actually managed to break free from the abuse through talking to somebody. Now, this was a very interesting day because it just happened that I was in school in my home economics class, and the teacher spoke about another girl that she's met that's been sexually abused. And she went into detail, and all of that just bubbled up inside of me, and I just cracked down. I walked out of the classroom, I was crying my eyes out. And my closest friend that I had at the time came after me, and she said, "What's going on?" And I hesitated a bit, and then I said, "I'm being sexually abused by my dad." Then I went to the principal and his wife, and I didn't even go back home that same day. I'm so glad for that. Child welfare came in, and they, removed all my belongings from their house. And I never saw them again until the court case had happened a year later.
My first sexual experience was when I was at the age of 16. This guy, we were together at school, and I had my closest friend. We were both going out with friends. So this day, we came out from school, and there was a long grass behind our school. Then we started to sleep in the grass. It was not something that I enjoyed because that was my first time. And like when I realized things now, I was never in love with the guy, but it was just the peer pressure that was around. So I wanted to experience what they're experiencing, but when I wake up, my legs were itching and all those things. Then I was wet, I have to go and wash before my granny come home. Sana lam khani baliseleke niqale phi ukwazi ngezesonto okanye niqale ukwazi ngesex nifunda njani?
Ichomi sozithetha ngayo kuba baye kuthiwa bebesenza isex nezinja yonke loo nto ngoba hayi uqala kwami uyiva mna
Iminyaka mingaphi?
nobana na 9.
Hayi mina ndaqala ndaziveza intsebe tshila apho ayifesitshomi ngoba nandihamba neetshomi ezindala, so like even asikhathi xa ndimamamele bebethanda ndixelela yo kusebe nobani bani nebemnandi la way bendixelela about le sex ke ndingayazi ndisemncane ngasikhathi nobani phaa kwezipinteni ya. So
mna ngoku ndandisiva ngesex ndandisesikoleni maybe I was 11 years.
Which one?
Like fika i-social worker soyo esikoleni yabo sixelele kuthi umntu othathe i-private party yakho yabo that's not right, funeke umvumele ngokwakho umntu uba ningahave sex like into ezinjalo yabo, angavele yena akulaa nto kuba uthathe i-private part yakho ugqibele ukureyipha yabo like into ezinjalo.
I was sexually abused from a very young age, mostly throughout the time that I was at primary school. It happened by someone who's in fact a member of the family. I experienced certain moments of sexual abuse by a number of other people as well. Some of the people who were responsible for the abuse were religious people, and I couldn't understand if the religion taught me that sex was this sacred thing, that religious people could do those sorts of things to me. It's something that will always be there, but I think it's just made me a stronger person because I've been able to overcome it and try to understand what sort of impact it's had on my life. I'll probably never forget it, and I won't ever forgive the people that hurt me, but I'm much stronger for it, and as long as I've gained that much strength, I'm okay about it.
Well, after setting myself free, I started looking for real relationships, looking for the prince on a white horse roaming into town and just picking me up and taking me off. I've always had these images, and I was going out looking for relationships like that. But because I really didn't understand the workings of relationships, of love, of sex, and the one friend that I had was involved in prostitution, and she also introduced me into it. Though it was for a brief time in my life, it was really lasting 2 months. It showed me how much I really understood and felt towards my own sexuality and towards sex, because I was really almost numb to it and not really appreciating it for the beauty and for what it really is and for what it's meant to be.
I started rapping gradually, like from the time I was about 14, 15 years old. It started out through writing poetry, just writing thoughts, really. I started calling myself the Lady of Shame when I first decided to rap in front of people. Everyone asked me, Lady of Shame, like, why the Lady of Shame? When I was about 16, I came across the definition of the word shame, and it was the immediate response to being abused or to being raped, and it just seemed like the right word because I guess that was how I felt, and that was how I felt for a long time. Even now, I'm still the Lady of Shame, but I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel ashamed of myself, because that's what it meant, that you ashamed of yourself because of what happened to you. I wasn't responsible for what happened, so it's just a reminder of, like, don't feel shame, don't feel ashamed of what happened to you.
During all my experiences and I first found freedom, I also met a wonderful person. His name is Jaco. We met in a club, and I immediately fell in love with this person, with this man. And I remember our first sexual experience, or our first night together, was quite an interesting night. We were actually in a hotel having a lot of fun, drinking champagne, and then it went over into action and we had sex. And why, at that time I wasn't really thinking about any kind of things like disease or pregnancy. I was just having fun. And Jaco mentioned using condoms or using protection. And I was saying, no, come on. And I was like pushing it away. And I just wanted to have sex. But thinking back about that time, that I actually had the option and had the choice to use condoms. It was there in front of me, but I pushed it aside. And that has changed my life. Because if I made a different choice that night, I would not be HIV positive. So I cannot blame him, because I should take responsibility for my own health. But I regret it, but, I can't just keep it, I can't let it face me all the time. I need to go on. And, I think that is the turning point in my life when it comes to my sexuality. It's not a bad time, it was just a bad choice. Because I don't regret the fact that I've met a wonderful man that I'm still with. I regret the choices that I made then.
I had a cousin sister who died of AIDS, and by the times of 99, 98, 97, no one cared about HIV, even myself. I never cared, though it was a subject that is being talked about on radios, on TV, but it's something I never related it with me. But in 2000, there was something that told me that go for HIV test. It's like I wanted just to know my HIV status. I told my friends that I went for HIV test. Like everybody I saw, I went for HIV test. There was nothing telling me that the results can come positive. I tested 1st of March, and then in the 8th of March, I got my results. I was HIV positive. I couldn't believe that I was HIV positive. Every time I wake up, I would go to the mirror and see if I'm still alive, and I would cry, looking in the mirror, thinking of dying. At some point, having a vision of my funeral, people saying she died of AIDS and all those things.
Like, and by his genes, and his genes. Don't go further up. Don't go further up than that.
Nowadays, you can't just have that free, happy sex anymore. You just can't. It's too dangerous. It's like our sexual organs have become weapons, which is a really disturbing thing. I mean, on my side of things, I haven't had sex and I don't have sex, which is, I don't. I really don't.
Physically, when you are in that point of no control, when the fire is just burning inside of you, you need to break that for an instance and put on the condom, and that is it spoils everything. Or the build-up has been cancelled, and it's difficult to pick up from that.
Yeah. I just want to love and kiss and just not have issues, but there's issues everywhere.
My first sexual experience was quite late in life. I was 20 years old, and it was with my first girlfriend. I'm currently with her now. It's gotten better. The first experience wasn't anything at all. I mean, I hate to think about it, because we didn't know what to do, we were all over each other, it was kind of like rush, to get somewhere where you don't know, just a lot of kissing and a lot of touching, but it meant a lot. Afterwards we realized that, God, we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't even know how to do it, how to be sexual with each other. But that was exciting to know that, it was both our first time, and we were only discovering each other. was something worth waiting for, you know? It was something worth doing at the right time when I knew I was ready to do it with someone that I really loved. Sex is something beautiful. It's definitely something to wait for, definitely. And I don't regret that my first experience was so late. For me, it was actually very early. I could have waited more, but I found the right person, and therefore I felt the moment was right, and I did.
Do you talk about when you want to do sex, or when you'll be ready to do it?
Yeah, I think I'll be ready when I'm like 17.
Yeah. What makes you
16.
think that?
17 is like the right age. It just is. I don't know why. Because maybe like younger. I mean, if we're below 16 and there's an older guy that we have sex with, that's like rape, first of all. And second of all, I just don't think I'm ready. Personally, I don't think I'm ready.
All right.
And you have to think of what your friends will think of you if that happens. Because they don't have to know. Yeah, that's true. But they find out. People find out these things. Guys can't be trusted. They just like go tell everybody afterwards.
Okay, tell me, do you talk to your parents about sex?
Well, I would only personally talk to my parents if there was something important that I had to talk about, but not like casually.
If I felt pregnant, I'd run away from home. I'd be like, hey mom, I think I'm pregnant. You should probably like kill me or something.
I'm an educator, an AIDS educator, and I started to be an educator in about 1996, a year after my diagnosis. And it started basically with meeting people and realizing the lack of education and understanding that they have about HIV and all these unnecessary fears of being scared to touch you. I started sharing my own personal experience of living with it, how I feel, how I'm coping, how do people feel around me. And just through that, more and more people requested myself and Yaku, both of us, just to talk about it. And that's what we are doing today, full time. We are talking about our own status, and through that, hopefully helping and reaching out to other people so they would better understand it and would be able to deal with it more easier.
I bet you all of you are probably buzzing with lots of questions, stuff that you would like to know.
The one I can say, I contracted HIV through sex. I had sex with somebody and I contracted it, yes.
What made you to finally decide that you're going to tell her now I've got the virus?
We got married.
Okay.
We knew each other 2 months, and that 2 months I didn't have enough time to tell her that I was HIV positive. But when we got married, a week after, 2 days after we got married, I told her, listen, I've got something to tell you. It's going to be shocking, but I've got HIV.
Was there a time when you thought you're going to leave Jaco because of if you tested positive?
You know, I didn't think about leaving. I was just thinking, how will I manage this? What will I do now? And I decided to stay with Yaku instead of leave him. Because, I mean, what will it help me if I leave? We will just be two people alone, HIV positive, and we still love each other. He's not HIV positive to me. I see him for his personality, for his characterism, for his enthusiasm for life, and that gives me energy.
Not me. Not me.
Do you still keep a physical relationship? And if you do you use condoms?
Okay, when you're talking about physical, you're talking about sex. Yes. Antoinette and myself have sex, but we do use condoms. Obviously, we don't want to transmit HIV again over and over, because I can actually pass on, even though I can pass on more viruses to her.
But also remember, you don't have to have sex as just physical penetration. Okay? You can also do other things to be intimate and to be sexual, except just having penetrative sex. Okay? There could be massaging, and there could be comforting each other, there could be all kinds of stuff, mutual masturbation. So, you know, explore all those options as well, because it is there.
Ndiyazibulisela apha emakhaya emva komboko kaloku nguye usinowa kwamutsha othi molweni apha emakhaya. Xa sizawungena kaloku kule nkqubo yezempilo namhlanje bethuna ndihamba naye usisilinda kaSambatha esamgqibela kudala uzawuke atsho azibulisele kuni baphulaphula asiqalele ba ingaba yena namhlanje yintoni le asiphathele yona namhlanje.
Incoko yethu yanamhlanje sawuthetha ngesini isexuality, sithethe ngezesondo, isex ne-impact eziyenzayo kwi-HIV. Disclosing my HIV status, I would say it was a real turning point in my life, because I first disclosed in Radio Bonele, a local radio station in Kailicha. Like so many listeners, like they were calling, the others saying, "We wish you good luck, Linda." The other people were praying. Like I got so much strength. But it was a different story when I go home. When I went home, like my husband was so furious, so angry. Why did you go to disclose? You know, if you are disclosing, people will automatically know that I'm HIV positive. And that was the day he started to beat me, and I have this mark here, the mark that I've got.
Ndibuyele pha emva Linda, ndifuna ucacise banzi nge-masturbation. Ndifuna mhlawumbi abanye abazali abayazi, ndifuna abazali bacacelwe emakhaya.
Why abantwana xa kuthethwa nge-masturbation iyinto wrong? Because if umuntu uyamasturbate, indaba iyona safe sex. Because umuntu uzirelieve eyedwa, umuntu uzirelieve engabonwa mntu. That thing yobana i-attracted komnye umuntu othi at the end of the day amsulele nge-HIV ayikho. Abantwana bayamasturbate, but izinto engathethwa ngazo ezo thina njengabantu abamnyama. Then ndifuna mna as uLinda khange ndibone into wrong. So much things have changed in my life, because with disclosing my status, I became a free woman, I became a strong woman, I became to see who I really am, a hero in my community. I didn't know what exactly I want in life until I knew my HIV status, and then that is where my mind came back to me and say, Linda, wake up. And with the issue that I will die and I have to do things before I die. It doesn't have to happen that you have to think of death to change your life. But being an educator and inspiring other people, at least it makes me feel great, and it makes me being stronger day by day, because I know there's a change that I bring to other people's lives.
I go up to the mountain as often as I can and just walk through the mountain where I can just relax and chill and smoke and write. I hate being made to feel claustrophobic. I need as much space to breathe as possible because I'm a very private and difficult, independent individual. I just need to move, and I need to think, and I need to be free. I really, really did feel at first that I hate men and would use them for whatever. But it's immature and it's childish to think that way, because as I've been getting older, I've met a lot of really, really nice men and good, decent men who really care and respect women. I'm still going through the process of knowing what I want as a sexual person, and I've been single for quite a long time. I believe that sexual relationships get really good when you're like in your late 30s or 40s or something like that, because you're so much older and you really understand yourself. So I look forward to traveling that road.
There are so many beautiful women out there. There's too many beautiful women out there who don't know how much value they possess, who don't know how to demand respect.
They should come see us.
And who don't know what self-worth really means. And I've just got one request to all womankind. Take over the world so that I can just roam the earth in freedom. Thank you.
Take the stress off.
Yeah, take the stress off. Take over the world.
Yeah, for the women that are out there that know your capacity as women and that are exploiting that power, please have some mercy, man. Have some mercy.
But you go, girl.
Yeah.
Really only now in my life am I starting to reclaim what I've lost in the past. Now for the first time I feel things and I'm curious about things and I ask questions about what I like and what I don't like. And slowly, it's really starting slowly, but to be able to say to my partner, this is what I like. Now let's do it differently. I'm not just going to be, again, playing the submissive role of just saying, okay, let it happen. Because that's what I've always done in my life. I've just let it happen. I want it to happen now for myself. And what will make me happy and what will give me joy. And it's still, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to end up in life. Who will I become? I'm just happy that still early in my life, I've realized this now, that I can still be a free sexual goddess and nurture and love myself.
I would not be able to talk and do the camera. How do you know that you have actually given pleasure to your partner?
I think when she's reacting to me, to what I'm doing. But if she's just keeping quiet and not doing anything, not talking, no sounds, then I stop and ask what's wrong. Because, I mean, I'm like a machine now and it's just doing nothing.
In most cases with us, I do the first round, second round, or whenever, maybe tomorrow, I'm not enjoying it. Then I'll end up faking the organism so that I cannot disappoint you.
What will satisfy me will not be the way that you want to do things. Maybe what I want is for you, as you say, to touch my G-spot. And you will think that's against my culture or that's against me being a man. He'll think, gee, my grandfather didn't do that. So why should I do this? It's all about culture.
You better ask me what exactly do I do?
If I'm saying that, boy, in order for me to get pleasure, let's do oral sex. And you won't want to lick me, but for me, I'll satisfy you or you'll get pleasure from that.
Has it ever happened to any one of you that you actually did not get satisfied?
No, not to us. Not to us as men.
Eh? Not you?
It does happen to us.
The opposite sex could not make me reach where I want to reach or how I want to reach the orgasms. If I'm masturbating, I'm doing what I want and what is really satisfying me. Touching my breast and rubbing all over myself. And then suddenly, I just reach orgasms and something that I enjoy, and I can do it, 5 times a day. It doesn't have any dangers, and it's perfect. Have you ever heard of masturbation, uskomora?
No.
No.
Yeah, I've heard about it somewhere in the news or something like that, yeah.
So you've never heard about it? So you didn't even prefer to do it?
How can I prefer to do it then I don't know what is it?
Okay.
I always see it on movies and stuff. They always do it when they want to get turned on or something. Then they use that escapation.
sithetha nje netshumi zethu xa sigezelana uba yeyatsho ngona kawuthule yasikomora ezinjalo yawo so like awunosuke uthi gqipha mnkumama wakho ntatakho ya tata angakubulala lo for uzothetha lo ya.
My sexuality, it's at a blooming stage. It's something that I'm only discovering. I love my body, you know. Before, I felt my tits were too big, my bums were too big, you know. And now I'm at a stage where everything is blossoming. I mean, I'm coming into, you know, my body. You know, after being in a stage where, you know, you identify with boys and you wear your cap backwards and, you know, you kind of have a kind of like a hopping walk. Now I'm more proud of the woman in me. And I don't mind any femininity at all. I can love feminine, I can flirt feminine. I'm challenging myself into looking the way I feel I want to look, and not the way someone else feels they want me to look.
Yeah. Tell me, girls, which part of your bodies do you like best?
I like my hands because you can paint your nails, and I think that's a very feminine thing, which is really cool because I'm a girl.
Of every part of the body that I've got, my legs seem to be the best.
I like my eyes. Why?
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. I just like my eyes. And like when I go in like the water and stuff, and they like change color and they come out like brighter, and then sometimes they're dark and sometimes they're like brighter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got the right shape, and yeah, I like them.
I like my breasts and my hands and my mouth, my eyes. Pretty much everything except for my feet.
I'm really proud of myself. I've been able to overcome a very abusive relationship that I've been in. Now, I'm this free woman who's able to love herself. I'm this woman who's able to satisfy myself sexually. I'm this woman who's able to say, I love my vagina. I'm able to admire every part of my body and love myself to the fullest.
When I came out to my sister. You know, she wasn't surprised. And I think it's something to do with me. It has nothing to do with my family. It's the way I put it through to them that made them accept me. I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm not shy of it. I don't call it a condition. It's me.
Goddessa is something that I wanted for a very long time, to have a group of other female rappers. I think at first the need to have a female rap group was because there was just way too much guys, and they always so aggro and arrogant and acting as if other women couldn't do the same thing that they could.
One of my passions is film. I have 1,000 scripts in my head. I'm always thinking up of something, a story to tell, a poem or something, you know, and I always have it in pictures. It's something to do with how beautiful a movie can come out, and you know, there's so much work behind it, It's to do with the lighting. It's to do with the style of the shooting. It's the whole process of making something beautiful.
You've overcome, you've overcome, you've overcome, you've overcome.
The three of us in the group, we've overcome a lot of things. We're very strong and very proud, and we'd like to get that across that. Yeah, so there's been so much negative things in our lives, but there's so much more positive things to look forward to. And that women are amazingly strong.
Though I've been hardened by the climate of sorrow, I rise and I rise to meet a new day, the next day, tomorrow.
Now we we don't want to be known as female MCs or female rappers anymore. We rappers, and we can take out a lot of guys. We as tight as a lot of guys.
I felt life stir inside of me for the first time. My pride is on my sleeve because I've conceived not an idea or a plan or a conspiracy. It's an image of me unconditionally. Monthly crimson tides aborted to be replaced by your daughter. I am the author, she's the protagonist. He is the optimist, excited at the prospect of a life. Like the first time on your wedding night with a wife. In your rapture, you oblivious to the piercing sting of your erection.
The group is now 2.5 years old. We've considered signing a record deal, and that looks very positive at the moment. So, I mean, who knows what's going to be happening over the next couple of years.
The hate, your fate, the rape, and escape.
I have these recurrent pictures in my mind of a very deserted place. It's almost like the end of war. It's the aftermath of either the end of the world or the end of war. And I stand up and I actually have survived whatever has happened. I'm walking through all of this and I'm looking around me, and everything is dirty and there's almost the cold chill, but it's just a deep feeling that I have inside of me that I will survive. I have survived, and anything that will still come my way, I will survive.
Never seen the inner walls of a college, but she's schooled by the streets. Rules her own mind like a queen. Sister, rise to your feet, accept who you really is. Woman, it's a celebration. A new dance dawn, you've overcome.
Of the way I aim, my footsteps follow, my footsteps aim to follow, leading to. Though I've been hardened by the climate of sorrow, I rise and I rise and I rise to meet a new day. Like the first time on your wedding night with a wife in your rapture, you are oblivious to the piercing sting of your erection. A pseudo trail of menses and disappointment in its way, similar to raping your defenses.
Sister, rise to your feet, accept who you really is. Woman, it's a celebration, a new day has gone, you've overcome. You've overcome. You've You've overcome, sisters of mine, you've overcome. She's been seldom acknowledged, never Never seen the inner walls of a college, but she's schooled by the streets. Rules her own mind like a queen. Sister, rise to your feet, accept who you really say. Woman, it's a celebration. New day has dawned, you've overcome. You've overcome. It's been a strain, yet still waters remain, though winds have fanned the flame, even through the virtue of a name by which I've come to claim survival in the midst of the rain. I aim, my footsteps follow, my footsteps aim to follow. Today, leading to, though I've been hardened by the climate of sorrow, I rise and I rise and I rise to meet a new day, the next day, tomorrow. You've overcome the hate. You've overcome your fate. You've overcome the hate. You've overcome and escape.